Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Rebuttal to Mark Collet on the Speaker UK on the 24th of September 2021, version 2. I wasn't very happy with the way the original one turned out due to technical difficulties that are totally, and utterly my fault. Um, yeah, I cocked that up so bad at the beginning with the screen share. So we're going to redo this yet again, and I'm going to add some more stuff to it. So strap in, and we're going to take a look at the rebuttal to what essentially was Dion Muller's points, secret sources points, um, that she condensed in a post that came from everyone in our circles. They're asking these questions over months. The last few months have been asked, even years potentially. They were just condensed into a 15-point questions that Mark has responded to and has kind of like scapegoated Dion into it on some parts. So I'm going to reply to it because I feel that we need to discuss where the lies are here and how Mark has either obfuscated and tried to deflect from the actual truth of the matter. So we will begin again, and let me actually share my screen this time. There we go. It's problem solved. Okay, right, let's go.
On to the next point. Dion then states, why does Patriotic Alternative state in its policy that it has been a registered political party in the United Kingdom from 2018 when the Electoral Commission have refused their applications twice and have confirmed by email that PA are not a registered political party in the United Kingdom? So again, rather than ringing me or speaking to me, she has gone to the Electoral Commission and thinks she has a smoking gun. Websites have errors. Nowhere in anything that I have written or Laura has written did it ever say we were a registered political party.
That's not true. On your website, you did have the you did have this, didn't you, Mark? Why the party is allowed to use for information, right? So this is in your privacy policy, Mark. It did state the party is a registered national political party in the UK, right? You will later go and say that this was an error, right? This is just a copy and paste job, and it's just we made a mistake, but
However, we were told that to comply with data protection, we needed a data protection policy. And we needed that very quickly to comply with something to do with the website we were using. And the guy who got it for us copied and pasted it from somewhere, and it was meant to be changed and updated, but due to the amount of work that went into building the website in a very short space of time, all done by volunteers, no one was ever paid for it, may I add.
This is also something interesting to point out. Yes, so you intended to be a registered political party, right? Back in what the website was set up in around March time 2020. You'd only just kind of solidified PA as like an organization in 2019 or so, we're led to believe. It's interesting then that in all that time you didn't think to change anything, and you left it for what, over 18 months the way it was until recently, obviously. So also to note as well that I missed out on last time was the fact that you are not looking to become a registered political party, are you? Because you've now become a company's house limited company, right? Under guarantee, yeah. So here's the evidence that you have now changed your policy, right? So here is the official one from a few days ago. The parties are registered with Companies House now, where it used to say parties are registered national political party in the UK. right?
The people who did it are good-hearted volunteers. They copied and pasted a data protection policy from a registered political party and made an error of not changing it from registered political party to community-based political group.
Yes, because remember, you were incorporated only recently, was it? You became a company into July, was it? June, July 2020, I believe, right? And this was the website was set up beforehand. So you changed your mind in between that time, right? Also very interesting to note.
It was an error on the website, tucked away in a data protection article. She says in your party policy. Sorry, did she send the party policy notice? In its policy. What she doesn't say is it's in the data protection policy. It doesn't say it in, when you say policy on our website, people think of our 20-point.
Trying to obfuscate? No, I mean it's clearly in your privacy policy, aren't you? It's not in your policy, your 20-point plan. You're just trying to obfuscate here.
Plan. It was in the data protection policy. It was a copy and paste. It was done by one of our volunteers. But again, smoking.
Ah, shit. You know, we made an error for 18 months and we didn't bother to correct it. Is that still illegal? Is that still illegal? If like I made the point last night is, if you're the BP company and you have an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and you leave it for 18 months and then you only clean it up, yesterday, are you still liable for all the time you spent lying to people, and damaging, thing that's illegal to do, like, thing that's the problem, right? You've got this problem of oil in the water, and needs cleaning up, and it was a mistake, an accident, but you don't correct it until a week ago or a few days ago. Yeah, I don't know about how the law sees that. Be interesting to find out.
Gun that isn't a smoking gun. Now it's time for our second special guest of the night. Meant to be our first, but we had our surprise special guest, first special guest, obviously Colin. Why is Charlie Big Potato still a member of Patriotic Alternative Limited? We don't actually have members. We only have supporters and activists. We have no membership fee.
Right. Okay. So here's the next lie, and I actually forgot to say this last night. Right. You don't have members, but in your correspondence from the Patriotic Alternative Yorkshire branch, we have an email from Sam Mellier, I believe. Yep, there he is at the top, Sam Mellier, and it is vetting for future events and creation of Telegram community. Let's read this. It says, what? Question mark. Due to contained, albeit failed attempts at infiltration and time and energy spent to halt such attempts, all peer regional groups are now initiating vetting before people can attend events. Scotland blazed the way in regard to have seen great success both in filtering out bad actors, but also building a tighter community. We are also be opening a Telegram chat groups for those that have completed vetting to help build community among our members. So you do have members, Mark. You just don't call them paid members. You're obfuscating yet again. You're trying to say that, oh, because we don't have paid memberships, we don't have members. But you do have members because you take their details. There are members, Mark. Don't lie. Don't try and say, oh, they're the supporters and activists just because they're not paid. You class them as members. Then why does your documentation here say so? Continue.
She keeps saying member. She loves saying that, even though she knows fair well that no one has ever been a member and promoted by them when he is stated.
The good old meme of Schrodinger's PA, right? Are you a member? Not you a member? Laura and Mark are really the only members, right? I mean, that's how they can get away with a load of things when, say, I don't know, a guy with a machete or, someone bad does something in their organization. They just say, they were never really a member, right? It's a great get out of free jail card there, isn't it? Oh, they were never really a member. The only members of PA are Mark and Laura. The rest of you guys, the guys who give over their information, are you a member? You have to ask that question. Are you a member? Even if you've given over that, ask them, are you a member? And they'll probably tell you, yes. but no at the same time, because Mark and Laura are the only members. Fucking hell.
To another PA member, that member should give his children a quick death. Well, the person she's talking about has never really had anything to do with PA, but has made a serious accusation.
Doesn't matter if the guy's never had anything to do with PA. It was a member of your organization who's who is on your streams, in your chats, who is the official fitness coach of PA Fitness. You know, he's the fitness guru, Charlie Big Potatoes, aka Chris Keems, right? It's not the fact that the guy who's reporting this allegation is not a PA member. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that the guy who's saying the quick death is a member.
About Charlie Big Potatoes. I believe this to be a baseless allegation, but I'm not going to answer it myself. So,
baseless allegation. Okay, then let's show the evidence for the baseless allegation, Mark. Oh, we scroll down. Here we go. Here is the baseless accusation, Mark. This is from a guy called Punk Bastardo. And he was asked by a member, did Charlie once tell you to kill your kids? He then, Punk Bastardo, sent the guy a voice message, which I'll play in a second, and says, yes, mate. You know, the guy was stunned, obviously, right? So here we are. Here's the voice message that was sent in accordance from Punk Bastardo to himself during some kind of Telegram chat, where Charlie Big Potatoes says this.
Abandon? No, certainly not. I would suggest a quick death would be the only appropriate outcome.
Let's play that again.
Abandon? No, certainly not. I would suggest a quick death would be the only appropriate outcome.
So the baseless accusations, Mark, are not baseless. You have a voice note here from Charlie Big Potatoes, aka Chris Keems himself. It is his voice. There are many recordings out there of his voice. You can verify this. Where's the baseless accusation coming from? We have the correspondence from the guy who it was sent to, but you call it baseless.
Charlie, can you explain how you've been stitched up with this one, please?
Yeah, there's a voice note going around of me, and literally all it says is, what's the actual word? It's something around something.
I'll help you out, Charlie. This is what it says.
Abandon? No, certainly not. I would suggest a quick death would be the only appropriate outcome.
Like, no, I don't think that should happen. They should probably be given a quick death.
It doesn't say that, though, does it, Charlie? It says abandon them, no. And this will be very important in later.
It's words to that effect, and I'll be lying if I told you I remember what I made that statement about. But it certainly wasn't nobody's mixed race children, as is being alleged by these bad actors and idiots. But it's being passed around and passed off as though that was the statement that I made was to do with mixed race children. I can tell everybody now, in no uncertain terms, it wasn't. What it was to do with, I don't know. I don't remember the conversation. I must have, how long have I been on Telegram? About a year and a half, 2 years now. I must have 10,000 voice notes still out there doing the rounds of things that I've said in answers to questions that I've been asked or conversations that have took place. What that voice note was in relation.
So can I ask? That could be about grooming gangs. That could have been about child killers. That could have been about a terrorist murderer who bombed people. It could have been about the Lee Rigby killers. You could have said, well, somebody said, do you think they deserve to stay in prison for the rest of their lives? And you could have been, I'm not saying you said it about them, but you could have been saying Lee Rigby's killers deserve just to be done away with.
It
It
could
could
have
have been
been
something as
about
simple as
any of
that.
those.
Yes. What we want to do is abandon Lee Rigby's killers and give him a quick death. Yeah. Yeah, let's not abandon Lee Rigby's killers. Just give him a quick death. That doesn't make sense, does it? That is pure cope from both of you, Charlie, Mark. Absolute cope. Because in the context, it doesn't make any sense. You don't abandon terrorists. You don't abandon murderers. In what sense do you abandon them? Like I say, you can abandon children, though, can't you? You can abandon a minor. You can abandon a person. Like, in that context, it sounds more believable, right? You don't abandon a terrorist just to make him have a quick death. Very odd, isn't it? So there we go. Next.
It could have literally been about any of those topics or those groups, any one of them. But I'd be lying if I sit here and said no, it was to do with this or that or the other, because I genuinely cannot remember. But yeah, it's being passed off as
Officer in court. I don't remember doing this. Is not a defense. Sorry, just saying that. I even know that one. Saying I don't remember, Your Honor, that doesn't make much sense if there is context here. It's not a defense.
though it was to do with mixed race children. Absolute nonsense, complete and utter nonsense. These people want to paint us as monsters and evil people. It's just the bad actors. They've got bad intentions and they just want to demonize us. That's the reason I've pulled out of those. I've just pulled away from a few groups and deleted a few groups that I've got, because it's too easy for these people to simply come in, type whatever they want on an alternate account, leave, take a screenshot on the normal account and say, look what's in Charlie Big Potato's group. Look what Charlie Big Potatoes allows in his group.
Thank you, Frith. Okay, so here's the actual context. So someone had asked Punk Bastardo for the context of the voice note. Okay, so voice note was sent. Yes, mate. Have a good day. Cheers, mate. You too. Did you save any messages about it? Then there's another voice message, 4 seconds long, and I believe this is the one where Charlie tries to walk this voice note back with, "Oh, hi, it's just a joke," right? No, mate. I deleted the chat. Such a boomer. No, worry, mate. Do you mind if it goes on PA exposed? Carry on, fella. Try looking through. So there we go. There we are.
Got about that attack as well.
I'll try and get the 4-second one for the chat later.
What's the saying? It's all so tiresome, and it genuinely is. You know, these people, they must be paid, because it is absolutely relentless. It's one attack after the other, day by day. But we press on.
We do indeed, and we're going to press on to the next question. The next one is, why did an admin threaten Chris Mitchell with a machete? Now, this is a very bizarre question.
Thank you very much. Here we are. Here's the voice note again. So, eternal struggle, 4 seconds long. This is what Charlie has to say.
I'm joking. Can't have a fucking joke in here.
Right. Okay. So Charlie is trying to walk back what he has said. Why would you need to walk back what you're saying if it's about terrorists and you actually believe that they deserve a quick death? I'm for the death penalty of terrorists. I don't need to walk that back. Abandoning children and give them a quick death? Oh, yeah, shit. You need to walk that back, wouldn't you? So let's listen to it again in context, shall we? We have... Huge scroll up, Jesus. It's massive, the amount of stuff we've got here. There we go.
Abandoning? No, certainly not. I would suggest a quick death would be the only appropriate outcome. I'm joking. Can't have a fucking joke in here. Fucking hell. I'm joking. Can't have a fucking joke in here. Fucking hell.
Is it really a joke to tell someone to kill their mixed race children? because Punk Bastardo's got mixed race children. Is that funny? Is that a joke? Do we just go around saying, haha, yeah, kill yourself? No, you don't. It's fucking disgusting.
Because when Dion says an admin, you'd think she means a PA admin. She doesn't. There was a chat group on Telegram. There was an admin in the chat group on Telegram. She's claiming that the admin sent a note to Chris, a video note of him wielding a machete threatening Chris Mitchell. Let me tell you the truth. It was not a PA group. The person who sent the note to Chris had a different username than the admin.
Oh, we changed the username after the fact. Oh, they've got a screenshot. I know, let's change the username. Oh, it's not the same person anymore then. Right? that old chestnut. Yeah, we can do that. That's pretty easy. Look, here we go. This is the guy who threatened Chris with the machete. PC Chris, you're a faggot, right? That's one name for him. Here he is in his list of groups. He's in James Goddard's chat, and he's in Internal Struggles chat. Okay, sniff sniff. You got a tiny cunt, right? That's his bio. Let's see. So, I am gonna take forever to scroll up again. Here we go. Okay, so they're claiming that this admin was not in Charlie's chat, the Eternal Struggle. Here's Charlie, General Zod, the Governor, Mark Collet, admin, Lee G, 5G, I believe that's Lee Garrett, 300 Smiths, that is Kenny Smith, James Goddard again, it's the same with the other chat, in the same chats together, Enoch, I believe that's Enoch Powell, and then we have a guest of honor, PC Sniffs, right? At the time the screenshot was taken, his name was PC Sniffs, right? Well, here's the guy in question, threatening Chris Mitchell with a machete.
Yo, where you at, Chris? Wanna talk, mate? Have a nice chat with me and you.
Let's play that again.
Yo, where you at, Chris? Wanna talk, mate? Have a nice chat with me and you.
Just because he's not in, he's not got the same name doesn't mean it's the same guy, right? You can easily change your name. Like if I click on this guy's name, guess what? Account is hidden by the user. You can hide your account as well to try and obfuscate the fact that you've done something bad. Same thing happened with Kenny Smith, actually. Interesting that, right? So we'll continue with the
These people claim they were the same people. The usernames were different. It was an admin in a different group. Yes, there were PA people in that group. There were PA people in numerous groups. She has again gone running to the police, but it is not linked to PA. I have seen the video. I do not know the person in the video. I have never met the person in the video. Laura has seen the video. She has never met the person in the video. She has never spoken to the person in the video. Neither of us have ever had contact with him. And I was given 2 usernames to check for, and said person has never ever been in any of our vetted chats, has never been in the PWR chat, and has never been in any of the other actual PA chats, not the gaming chat, not the fitness chat. He could be found nowhere. So this is a random.
Yo, where you at, Chris? Wanna talk, mate? Have a nice chat with me and you.
he could be found nowhere. Okay, Mark. So let's just say, right, because he's not an officially vetted member in one of your chats, Mark, does not mean he's not in your chat. He was in the Eternal Struggle along with you as an admin, and he was an admin. Now, normally you don't make admins out of people you don't actually know, right? You don't actually know, yeah? So someone must have known him. Charlie must have given him the admin status. He must have talked with him. You're always in those chats, Mark. You used to be in the Eternal Struggle chat all the time. Because that's, I believe, where I confronted you some weeks ago. And I believe that's where you started berating me for my weight, right? So yes, you have been in those chats. I can confirm that myself. Right? But you'll say, oh, there's no proof, right? I think the proof is there for the taking.
account claiming to be linked to another account, which was an admin account that sent a video which contained a person making threats that nobody knows. This is not linked to PA at all. But again, she says an admin because it makes it sound like a PA admin. But cleverly, she didn't say PA.
It's linked by association, Mark. Don't you get this? This is what you're not getting, right? This is I know you like you're doing the guilt by association thing with your enemies, Mark. But when it's done to you, you don't like it, do you? Right? But it is an association. You must have known this guy to give him an admin status. You don't just willy-nilly give him admin status. You yourself must have were in that chat. I can confirm that. Right? So there we are. You knew this guy was around. Maybe you interacted with him. I don't know. I was banned. But you normally also don't nuke the chat we're talking about afterwards when this stuff had come out, when the police had been phoned by, again, Dion, and they went to visit Chris, right? Yeah. Normally you don't nuke a channel, right, that's got nothing to hide. Yeah. But you did. Because of the guilt by association, right?
Yeah, admin. She just said, why did an admin? But it sounds very intriguing. It's not. Next question. And this one is a real good one. Why did PA continue to allow a minor who already has a criminal record due to his connections with PA to remain as a member? Very interesting. She keeps using the name member. We've already said we don't take memberships. She knows that. But she's meant to be a police officer. Bear that in mind. Bear in mind what I just said. This woman was meant to be a police officer. And that is the crucial part of this. The crucial part of what I'm going to say is she says, bearing in mind she's meant to be a police officer, why do we allow a minor who has a criminal record due to his connection with PA still remain as a member? She's talking of Barclay Walsh. Now, Barclay Walsh was arrested for delivering leaflets. The police arrested him, took away his computer, and 6 months later gave him back all his stuff and said that the case was being completely dropped. He was free to go. He was arrested, but there was no evidence he committed any crime. That was the end of it. He was not charged.
Oh, thank you again. Okay, so actually we do have some more evidence to the last point. We'll roll that back. So here we have the same guy, with 3 different names, same voice as the video, right? Okay, so there we are. There's Chris, you're a faggot. We've seen that one. AKA Sniffy Sad Cunt. That's a different one. And no birds. Okay, so here we go.
Fucking way, hey lads, fucking Sniffy Chris sending shots at your boy. But you know what? He has to write this big fuck off thing about me. Yeah, just chatting absolute shit because he knows fuck all, yeah? All I need to is call him a ginger cunt or a fucking nigger, and my man gets pissed. Fuck you, Chris, if you're listening to this, by the way. Come suck my long dick. Fucking way, hey lads, fucking Sniffy Chris sending shots at your boy. But you know what? He has to write this big fuck off thing about me. Yeah, just chatting absolute shit because he knows fuck all, yeah? All I need to is call him a ginger cunt or a fucking nigger, and my man gets pissed. Fuck you, Chris, if you're listening to this, by the way. Come suck my long dick. Fucking way, hey lads, fucking Sniffy Chris sending shots at your boy. But you know what? He has to write this big...
There we go. So it's the same voice note, but 3 different names. That's how he's obfuscated it, right? That's how he's tried to play it off as different people and not the same person, but the voice is the same person, right? Okay.
fuck off thing about me. Yeah, just chatting absolute shit.
All right, need to reduce that. There we go.
He was not found guilty in a court of law. He does not have a criminal record. That is very important. You only have a criminal record if you have been found guilty in a court of law.
Correct.
Now, I will say this. If the person we were talking about was a common or garden member of the public, they might not know that a criminal record is when you're found guilty in a court of law. They might think just being arrested gets you a criminal record, but it doesn't. To have a criminal record, you need to be found guilty in a court of law. Dion, as an ex-police officer, would know exactly what you would need to do to attain a criminal record. She would know the process. Why would she know the process? Because she's meant to be an ex-police officer. Yet she disingenuously claims that young Barclay Walsh has a criminal record. He is still involved with PA. He does not have a criminal record. In fact, quite the opposite. It was proved that he had done nothing wrong.
Okay, so yeah, this is Mark, is it correct? You only have a criminal record once you've been convicted in a court of law. But again, this is the police tactics they're using, obviously, for these. We know they're using these for right-wing groups. They'll arrest you, take your devices, to find more information about your links to said groups they are potentially looking at, right? Okay, so yeah.
That to me is very telling. She absolutely knows, judging that we believe her, that she was in fact an ex-police officer. She would absolutely know, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that he does not have a criminal record. She thinks that's a smoking gun against us, but maybe it's more of a smoking gun against her. She follows that up and says, do Patriotic Alternative Limited...
Well, here's the thing. The thing with Barclay's thing, and this is kind of going to defend Dion here a second. The thing with Barclay is we didn't really find out that he'd been found guilty. Innocent even, innocent of said, his arrest. There was nothing, no one kind of made it clear that had happened. All we heard was last year Barclay had been arrested for leafleting, right? We didn't hear any outcome of it. It kind of reminds me of the Sven Longshank stuff with PA, like how he's on trial for his Radio Albion and Radio Aryan radio station, and on 15 counts of, but we never heard anything about him until recently, and it only came out because it was in the press and he wore that suit, right? It's the thing is, like, how I don't know, maybe how were you meant to know that Barclay had not been arrested? Not because none of us really understood this until last night, right? I didn't know this. No one mentioned he'd been found innocent, of any crime. Communication is key, right? I think many people in PA would like to know when certain things have been thrown over or what, and that's a big coup, isn't it, for you? Barclay did nothing wrong. Why are you not shouting that from the rooftops? Interesting.
Think they are going to change the law. Why do they continue to ask people to post leaflets when they know the leaflets contain propaganda that is illegal? A 16-year-old child has already been arrested for posting leaflets for PA, yet this organization continued to ask people to break the law. Again, false. This is a completely false claim.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mark. Listen, we know the name.
and then this is Dave the Pond butting in and asking about the girl to do with woes, which is this is really dodgy, to be honest.
Have we got an image of this female?
Yes. I'm sure you can be provided with one, but I'm just going to get to the end of this point.
Mark's going to just provide a random guy on the internet with an image of a girl who has accused Millennial Woes of a sexual assault. That's not dodgy at all, is it? Just randomly. Oh yeah, okay. Can I have an image of X person, Mark? Will you just give it me? What's that? Oh, there's they're slandering. They're saying something about they've made an accusation against one of your members. Can I have them now? You don't like them, Jeez.
The leaflet was proved completely legal because Barclay was released. Had Barclay Walsh not been released, had he been charged and found guilty, the leaflet could be deemed illegal. The leaflet was deemed legal because the police released him. She knows this.
Then why didn't you communicate that to your people in PA? Why didn't you say anything? That was a huge win for you, right? It's a huge propaganda coup, right? They've said that your leafleting is not racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever, right? Whatever, anti-immigrant, yeah? You've won. Why have you not shouted that from the rooftops? Why has it just gone on quietly and no one knows what the fuck had gone on until the other night?
She knows farewell, he was released. She knows he doesn't have a criminal record.
Correct.
And the police said, you, Barclay Walsh, put this leaflet out, and there was no case to answer. Hence, the activity of putting the leaflet through the door and the leaflet itself is legal. This is again another lie. Question 8, a follow-up again to this question, asks, isn't that just plain stupidity with 2 question marks? Well, firstly, stupidity is using 2 question marks at the end of a sentence, and it is not stupid to put out legal leaflets. We are operating totally within the law. The next 2 questions, 9 and 10, I answered on a previous stream. And then she starts.
Yeah, the previous stream being Fashfil's talk with Mark Collet. That was a couple of weeks ago now. I'm not sure. I probably can get you the 2 questions that were talked about that weren't answered here. We'll try and get those for you. I'll put them in the Telegram group after. Next.
Complaining, why do PA vet their supporters? We are not the only people who vet our supporters. Lots of nationalist groups on the continent and other nationalist groups in the UK vet their supporters. The Traditional Britain group, who Dion has also been attacking recently, vet everyone. They demand everyone who comes to their meetings provides proof of who they are, or they don't allow them to come. It's as simple as that. We vet our people because we have been attacked. Our regional groups have been attacked on numerous occasions by Antifa. The Southeast organizer Theo stepped down after being punched in the face by Antifa. Sam and Laura got attacked while leafleting. Sam defeated the attackers and sent them packing. Thankfully, his pregnant wife didn't suffer.
Oh, there's a little white lie. Sam got attacked last year. That was last year in November time, I believe. November last year, right? So Sam was attacked, and Laura wasn't pregnant at the time. Laura's been pregnant since March because her due date is in December. So I don't think Laura is an elephant. So I think that that's a little bit of a line and trying to appeal to emotion here. You're trying to make the audience listening feel sympathy for. Well, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be sympathy for being attacked, but you're just trying to kind of ingratiate them a little bit harder, trying to put the feels on, aren't you, Mark?
We have also had several other interactions, most notably in London, with Antifa. Why do we vet our people? We vet our people because if they provide us with documents to prove who they are, we then are sure that if they turn up and attack us, we know who they are. This creates a safe environment for our people. We have to do this because the state refuses to prosecute Antifa who are violent.
Actually, I'll just go back on that. So the thing is that if they turn up and attack you, we know who they are. Problem is, they're already attacking you at that point. You're kind of like then reactionary to it. It's not proactive. But I guess we'll come back to that in a bit because I think that's important at this point. This idea of, is it a reaction or are you being proactive in certain cases with Antifa?
Communist thugs. This creates a problem for us. If the state refuses to police these people, we have to take quite unfortunate steps such as vetting to ensure the safety of our supporters and activists. the same way that Traditional Britain Group do, and the same way that numerous groups do on the continent. This is not a funny thing. This is not a strange thing. This is not a nice place to be, but most people will understand why they do this, and those who don't, when explained to them, they will usually take it on board and see it from our point of view. And they would certainly see it from our point of view if they were attacked by one of these masked thugs. And then if they went to the police and got the usual response of the police aren't interested in investigating because they won't prosecute Antifa, they would certainly see it from our point of view.
Problem is they don't this is another little lie. They're not prosecuting Antifa, they're prosecuting the individuals, right? This is the thing. Antifa is a decentralized organization. It's cells. It's not a unified body. It doesn't have a head office somewhere you can complain to. Isn't an official outfit, right? So they're going to be, if the people are caught, beating someone up, they're going to prosecute the individual, not Antifa. Again, it's just an obfuscation for the fact that you're trying to paint this rosy picture of or the rosy picture. Oh, we're victims of the state, right? Yeah, I there is a degree to that, yes, but it's not this 100%. Oh, every doom and gloom. They're all out to kill you, right? Every single one of you.
We have family events. We do not want families being attacked by these monstrous left-wing terrorists. She then says, why have PA installed a highly encrypted database? Well, we vet people. We take people's details. When we have vetted people, we encrypt data people send to us because we care about the safety of our members. So if anything happened to a computer with that data on it, the data is completely safe. Do you think the Labour Party and the Conservative Party encrypt their data? I guarantee they do. They will have a locked membership list that you will need password access to, and only few people will have the password. She talks about encrypted databases. She talks about cybersecurity as if anybody who secures their membership data has something to hide. Well, they do. They do have something to hide. They have their members' data, which they have to secure. This is a sensible precaution. Who here doesn't have a lock screen?
Right, okay, here we go. Right, the whole encrypted files. If you're encrypting files, that's fine, Mark. Yeah, you're right. There's probably organizations. Yeah, everyone probably encrypt their files to their member list. Yeah, absolutely. You even going to say that the BNP have such a thing. But what you're not saying is the fact that you have documentation out there that you're trying to hide from the police and investigative services. You don't need to hide member lists from the police. Police won't release member lists, right? Police aren't going to do that. But here we have your documentation. Here we are. Encrypted pen drive. Patriotic Alternative, Registered Office Support Documentation, Category IT Support, authored by Steve Blake, National IT Support, PA Eastern Deputy Regional Organiser, commissioned and edited by Kenny Smith, National Advisory Council, PA Scotland, Admin Officer, version 1.7, date the 20th of the 2nd, 2001. Within this document, there is very, very, very dodgy writing where you say... Is it? Here we are. Remember, too, in the exceptionally unlikely event that authorities will arrest a law-abiding citizen like yourself, and at the same time seize a pen drive that hasn't been destroyed, this is the password you will give them in order to avoid them prosecuting you for refusing to disclose a password. And that's under the Terrorism Act, that is, right? Why do you need to destroy encrypted data of members? And the police, they're not going to release members list. The only reason you'd have a documentation like this is if you're trying to hide stuff from the police. What could you be trying to hide from the police, Mark? Is it potentially this stuff. Useful links, pages to be checked, keep lists easy and shortcut to pages. This is a list of Antifa or left-wing political opponents, right? There are names here: Alex Wilson, Angus Brown, people like this. There are organizations: Edinburgh Antifa Group, Celtic Connected AF, things like that. This is what constituted as a... Well, actually, you know what? I'll let Nick Griffin explain it, because he'll explain it far better than I will, right? So, where is the video? Because Nick Griffin did a whole video on this, and this is a cut section of it that I'm going to play for you now, which will describe why this is bad. All right.
Right, let's crack on then,
Indeed.
shall we? So,
Yep.
we've mentioned, Jenny mentioned a bit about National Action, and Jimmy as well. Bear in mind that National Action was prescribed just over a meme, basically, over a cruel meme. And what's now we're going to talk about next with PA is far, far worse and more serious than that. But I would say that I've no doubt the British state wants to push for tougher laws. See, it's not that long since they brought in the prescription law, but it's not that particularly efficient, because you could have been in National Action. As long as you leave it, you can get involved in a new party. They want more than that. They want the French style law. And friends of mine in France have fallen foul of this. This isn't some kind of myth, whereby if you're in an organization which is prescribed, you are then banned from forming or joining any new organization. You basically lose all your rights to function unless you want to join the Labour Party or the Conservative Party. So that's what they want to do next in Britain. But to do that, they need excuses. So it's not just locking people up or setting people up, as Jim said, for blackmail in the future. They also want an excuse for further clampdowns. And look at what Kenny Smith and Steve Blake are now doing. And I saw the thing. We looked at it, saw it, came up when we were in Ireland, actually, Northern Ireland the other week, that they put out, in effect, a joint bulletin thing. And Kenny Smith is urging people to collect information on the far left. And he had a list of, I think it's about 30 or so different leftist organizations and groups in Scotland alone, which he wanted people to collect information on. And then Steve Blake did a very long and very detailed techie thing on how you can do this safely, because you can encrypt all this information. And he told people, took people through the stages of doing all this encryption. And he recommended the encryption on a pen drive. Now, in fact, if you did have something dodgy in a pen drive, I'm not saying you should have, if you did have, you would have a pen drive and you would hide it somewhere outside of your house, a long way away. That's relatively safe. But he was saying you hide it by having a pen drive, and then you create this deep level on the pen drive where you put all the illegal stuff, and then you just put all sorts of tosh on the top of it, and that'll protect you. No, it wouldn't, because once you're raided and they've got this, and they look at the tosh, they're then going to say, look, we know that pictures of cats and dogs and just not, he said, just get nonsense off the internet and put it there. So we know that this is nonsense. We know there is something deeper than this on this pen drive. Unless you give it to us, you are breaking the law and you are going to go to prison. So Kenny Smith is setting people up for the very serious offence of possessing information likely to be or potentially of use to a terrorist organisation. And Steve Blake was setting them up to fall into the trap of refusing to cooperate with the police. And again, it's not just a civil, a minor offence. This is a terrorist offence. So both of these, they can basically put people in for 3 months if they want, or they can put away for 6 years. And that's what these people were telling people to do. And it's, in a way, it's even worse than that, because the minute you have someone has something they think is encrypted, something they think is safe, then if they've got anything else which is dodgy in their lives, and you have to face it, most people have something, all of us have something in our lives we'd rather someone else didn't know about out there, really. That's just human nature. So if you're putting that on the drive, which they're going to be able to get at, because if you don't give it to them, you're going to prison for a long, long time anyway. So whether it's porn addiction, some of these kids, because they started on normal porn at the age of 13, and now they've been on it 5 years, God knows what they're looking at. Whether it's a porn addiction, whether it's crazy fantasy diaries, which a lot of people have got put down for, Islamists as well as nationalists in recent years, whether it's the anarchist cookbook or whatever, anything on there, which because they feel safe, they're going to put it there. And then they're going to get done. So this is
Well,
so extraordinarily serious so it's not just these are bad men. What they're doing right now is not that you can't see where the hook is. You can see the hook they got for these poor suckers.
Yeah.
there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think that sums up pretty much what I was trying to say. This is likely to be used as in terrorist, potentially terrorist outcomes. Like, that's what the state would see this as. So when Mark's saying we encrypt the data, it's not for members. They're not encrypting members' data because, again, like why would you be worried about encrypting members' data? It's a total obfuscation of the point there. He's trying to say that, oh, we just encrypt members' data. Yeah, that's fine. If a police ask for encrypted members' data, you give them it, wouldn't you? You'd have to, right? But the police wouldn't fucking spread that anywhere. Their obligation to not to do that, right? Okay. So you're obviously trying to hide something because you're not talking about that. Again, you're obfuscating, Mark. Yeah. It's when you put out documents, and I'll get the last document here on the list. Where is it? There we go. The last documentation. It's when you're trying to collect names, contact details, social media links, anti-fascist connections, and other useful information that would go onto a Telegram channel. You know, when you're trying to hide all this information on a pen drive that's doubly encrypted, one where it's just tosh, as Griffin said, and another where you've got all this, presumably you think is safe, right? Imagine being found with names of people who are political opponents. Like, that doesn't look good. You're going away for a long time, right? This is how serious this is, right? And you're just obfuscating the fact by saying, oh, we protect our members' data. It's nothing. We don't do anything dodgy.
Screen on their phone. Why do they have a lock screen? Because if they drop it or somebody takes their phone, people don't want all their private documents to be viewed by a thief or a chancer who manages to get their hands on their phone. Keeping your computer locked or password protected or encrypted is very, very normal.
Yeah, but you don't need double encryption on your phone, do you? Your text messages aren't doubly encrypted, are they? Fucking hell. What?
When I was in the British National Party, we had a system called PGP, which was encrypted end-to-end email for anyone dealing with membership data. This wasn't unusual. This wasn't out of the ordinary. This wasn't revolutionary. It is called best practice. She knows that. She used to work for the police. 13. Why haven't PA employed a data protection officer to control the highly sensitive information held on their members, don't have members, that they have been collecting since 2008, according to their own policy?
We don't have members, but to be a member, give all your details up, please. Give your bank statements, your utility bills, photo ID. But you're not a member. You can't get into the community groups unless you're vetted, unless you're given all that information. But you're not a member because there's only 2 members in PA.
2018, sorry. Firstly, typo, already did the 2018 typo. Secondly, and more importantly, we do have a data protection officer. She could have rung me. She could have written to me. We do have one.
Yes, you do. And in future, we'll see where this goes. But from my understanding of UK law at the moment, your data protection officer is in breach of their obligations. I'll say that much. To be confirmed whether this is legal or not.
End of story. Very simple answer. 14. Why have PA members used intimidation tactics to vet members? We haven't. Ridiculous, ridiculous question.
I've heard reports that this isn't the case, and actually, the people have been threatened, or feel threatened by the vetting process. again, this is something that would need to be corroborated with other people, and again, they're too afraid to speak out. This is what many people don't understand. Like, I've talked to people myself, and they've seen this stuff. They've personally been threatened by PA or members of PA, if members of PA. So yeah, like, they're not going to come out with this and say, oh yes, we've actually done this, are they? Are you, Mark? You're not going to admit to threatening to dox people when they disagree with you, or yeah.
15. Why did Kenny Smith, PA Scottish leader, ask Fraser Hudson, aka Madfwaz, to commit a crime? Now, this is where Dion makes her false police report. I said earlier, she issued a false police report to counter terrorism. It was over this issue.
A false police report. Obfuscation max, man. Maximum effort here. How is it how is it a how is it a fake police report? How can you, when you report something, just a fake police report? Yeah, you just ring up counter-terrorism for the lols, right? Just, my God. Like, yeah, that's just Mark, what are you saying? So,
Patriotic Alternative has been attacked by Antifa. The bigger we get, the more we attract their attention and the more they want to hurt us. This is a serious issue because we care about our supporters. We care about the people who go out and leaflet for us. We don't want them to be attacked. And we certainly don't want families at family events to be harmed in any way. That is pretty obvious. I think we all understand that point by now. So I'm not going to labor it any further. But what I will say is this. We are in a position where the police will not follow up any of these Antifa attacks. When Theo, our former Southeast regional organizer, reported the assault to the police,
right, okay. He actually reported it to the police. This will come in later as well, actually. So he reported it to the police. That's correct. Okay, Mark.
Police refused to even come to the scene and take a statement. They just left him. They left him. Now,
no, because here's the thing, right? I've done this when you sent goons to my house, Mark, right? At 7 a.m. in the morning, right? When you guys whoever sent them, they were your lot, obviously, because of the information I put out about Kenny Smith, right? When I rang the police, they gave me a crime number, right? Where is this crime number then for Theo's assault? Because he would have one, right? This is what the police have to do. They have to give you a crime number, yeah? So that you can then follow it up with them, right? If anything new comes to light or anything else happens, yeah? So they can record it as the same crime rather than separate crimes, yeah? Okay? So there would have been a crime number, and through that crime number, you could have badgered them to come out and see you, right? You know what? I did this because when I first rang them, yeah, they were busy. And then I rang them again and said, look, I want to talk to the police. And they had to come round. I gave them the crime number. Yeah, I want to talk to the police. I don't feel safe. They had to come round. So what is this tosh about? Oh, they don't want to follow up. Make them follow it up. It's the law, Mark. They have to do this.
imagine if one of us had assaulted somebody. The police would have been there in moments. He was left.
He's trying to like paint this, if we did something bad, the police would be there instantly and handcuffing like Theo to the fucking, curb stomping him to the ground, kind of like. Where is your evidence for that? Like, you're just making up these wishful fantasies about how you're being persecuted. Persecution complex, right? That's what it is. You don't know that until you've actually like seen the events unfold and nothing happened. You can't say that. Or in this case, like, you were curb stomped to the ground as soon as you rang the police and treated like you were the assailant. It's bollocks. You're talking bollocks.
Left, standing, bloodied, and had to just get on with things. You know, imagine if he'd got a concussion. Imagine if something genuinely serious had happened to him. The way the police treated him was as if he was the criminal for being assaulted.
Is that the way they actually treated him, or is that the way you're saying they treated him? Can we get Theo's take on this? I'd like to hear Theo's side on this. Did they actually treat him like that? Because if it did, then he could then go to the Police Complaints Commission and say, look, I was assaulted and you did fuck all. There would be repercussions for that, yeah. Again, with the crime number that he was given, if he rang the police and recorded the crime, then they would be in deep shit. Yeah, the Independent Police Commission would literally roast the fucking police department that he rang. You know, there would be. This is society we live in, Mark. There's repercussions for not doing things. It's law and order. Yeah, we're not this anarchist thing that you're going to go on to say we have to defend ourselves. We're not vigilantes, are we?
Absolutely sickening. So, what did Kenny Smith ask Fraser Hudson, aka Mad Fraz, to do? Well, he asked him to do something quite sensible. Now, Fraser Hudson, aka Mad Fraz, weighs 30 stone.
Yes, this is relevant to being what I was asked to do, right? How is this relevant to anything I was asked to do, yeah? By Kenny Smith. What does my weight have to do with gathering information on left-wing extremists, right? In your mind, Mark? What does my weight have to do with it? No, it's a character assassination. It's a character. It's a smear.
He is on disability benefit because he weighs 30.
What does that have to do with anything again? Right? What does it have to do with it?
Stone. He doesn't leave the house. He lives off takeaways. He gets everything delivered to his house.
Now, I said last night, this was like, I was really like, this is creepy as shit. Because how do you know that? How would you know that is the case? Now, there's a possibility I mentioned that, yeah, I get home delivery, but I've only have told that to Kenny, Cyborg, people who turned up to my house. Yeah. They probably knew that. So are they just telling you this shit? Are they using something I've told them in confidence to smear me? Wow. Right, okay. So I get the shopping delivered. All right. Great. You're using that to smear me now? Christ, there's lots of people out there who use fucking home delivery from a supermarket. How's that a problem? But what's really interesting is the takeaway things. I've never even said that to anyone. You know what that reminds me of, right? When the police first came to my house back in July now, is it? End of June, early July. Their kind of shtick was, oh, we're worried about you. You haven't left the house in 6 months. I was like, how do you know that? So I'm gonna ask you the same question, Mark. How the fuck do you know that? It's very eerily similar to what they said. Are you watching my house? That's the only conclusion I would have to bring up. Are you watching my house? Because I know the fucking, because I've been tied up in your organization. Police are watching me, but are you watching me as well? Fucking hell! Do I need to make another fucking IKEA chair for you, Mark? You'll get that joke.
He weighs 30 stone. So this rather large individual essentially has a lot of time on his hands. He doesn't go out. So
right.
Kenny Smith said, would you like to help us with what we are going to do to try and stop ourselves being attacked by Antifa? Now, Fraser Hudson said he would like to help, which was good of him. So Kenny Smith said to him, we are monitoring the biggest and most violent Antifa groups that are threatening to attack us. We would like you to help. We would like you to monitor their Facebook groups, monitor a couple of their other groups, monitor their Telegram groups, because some of them are being very vocal about things they would like to do to PA supporters.
Yep.
And we don't want to attack them. We don't want to fight them. We want to avoid those people. However, They do not wish to avoid us. They wish for direct confrontation with Patriotic Alternative and its supporters. We do not wish for any confrontation at all with those people. In fact, quite the opposite. We wish to be left alone so we can just get on with what we do best, which is our community building. However,
right, let's see what you actually want to do with these Antifa then. Yeah, okay, here we are. Exhibit A. This is Kenny Smith talking to a guy who remained anonymous for protection reasons. Here is the guy. He's been talking to Kenny. Kenny has tried to rope this guy into going to a registrar's office and to obtain someone else's information because he can't find it online. Right? So here's the conversation. There's some voice notes. Here we have one. Obviously, it must have said in it didn't give a name. I know he wants to know if he'd do the job first before he gives him the name, right? Okay. I'm not. All right. Okay. So here we are as well. That was the first one. Sorry, this should have been first. Hope you're okay, bud. Would you be up for doing a bit of research to the guy up here, bud? Need an entry in the register of birth checked out for a key Antifa player who was born in Inverness. I have the date. I just need other info from the page, i.e., patient's details, address, parents' details, address at the time, etc. He's saying he's a lot better. What's her name? Inverness is a small place. Might even know them. Obviously, he didn't mention anything, and he says I didn't give a name because I didn't know if you'd do the job. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking me to do. So let's play the voice note that was actually sent. This is the 58-second voice note that you see in this clip here. This is this one, 58 seconds.
No, you won't know him. He left a long time ago, and his name is very common. We have his passport, but we don't think it's genuine. And I've checked registers online, and he's not showing online. So that's why I just need somebody to go to the registrar's office and see if we can have a look. There's no point giving the name unless you're able to go there. So yeah, this is a sorry to be a bit so clandestine with this need to know operation, and when this guy's found, it's not going to be a happy outcome. So yeah, let us know whether you can visit the registrars and ask for that information.
The first question is,
okay, so here we go, right? That was Kenny Smith asking someone else, not me, right? This wasn't me, right? Okay, this was in April this year, right? This was April this year that this happened, right? This was after the whole kerfuffle with PA Scotland and the doxer being in the group and releasing all the information to the Ferret, which they then did an article on in February. This was after, obviously, they'd had the guy in the car. And there's actually a Hope Not Hate article out recently about said experience of the Antifa guy, right? Which we'll get onto later because I had a dealing with that, with correcting some of the misinformation from the Hope Not Hate article. So he's asking someone else to do this, right? Now let's see what he asked me, right? Here we go.
Yeah, it's fucking infuriating, isn't it? Because just if he'd shared that detail and we pinned him down to a street, that the instruction would have been, this is our number one activity for these next weeks till we ident him, get his house, and that's it. Within we just then I don't need to put details in it, but you know what happens then.
You know what happens then. What does puff mean? Spend next couple of weeks trying to find this guy? Does this sound like a purely defensive measure against Antifa? I agree, sorting out the worst Antifa. I agree that, taking their names down and noting them so that then they could be prosecuted. But if they attacked you, yes. But what you're talking about here is going around this guy's house, finding where this guy lives. And from personal conversations that Kenny has had with me, he wanted to take their devices. They want to know all their connections. They wanted to hurt the guy. And things like a strong constitution was needed for this job. That doesn't sound defensive. That doesn't sound like it's squeaky clean. This sounds like you're going on the attack. This is offensive in nature, right? This is actually against the law. But you're doing it. And you're saying you're doing it for, protective reasons, Mark? These are the kind of people you're going around with? I'll finish the voice note for...
It is absolutely, but that this is a problem. There are people who panicking like him. He say, "Oh, people are getting doxxed." So if this hadn't get ended for another 4 months, I wouldn't have lost sleep in it if the end result was what we needed, because we're telling people how to behave and how to profile themselves online. If they don't listen, then what can we do? If they're happy to be open, happy to open. I mean, you've seen it. It's had zero effect on you. In fact, I think you've become a more confident individual since. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel that it's helped you have a bit more of a release and openness. And it's wonderful living, being able to use your name and not be 300 Spartans. Yeah. So business as usual, bud.
Yeah, I think there's in the voice note it says, if this had gone on for another 4 months, he wouldn't care. There is the other voice note out there of that. I believe that's down here. Is this one?
Sorry, but I'm not really sure what your level of trust than otherwise.
No, that's a different one. That'll be another one for later. So, Mark, let's continue with what you're trying to say.
And that's something I have put in place because that's the way we're...
That's the wrong one. Boomer Tech, sorry.
Will you be releasing full accounts of all your entropy?
That's not it either. God damn it.
When confronted with this, Madfraz, Fraser Hudson, decides in his infinite wisdom that he doesn't have the time to do this. He doesn't have...
Well, actually, yeah, I started to realize that this was dodgy, and I started to try and pull away from it. And I was actually really unwell at the time. Over the course of about 3 months there, I was actually rather unwell. And so, yeah, I didn't actually do any of the work you wanted me to do, Mark. And considering what I'd been told, I didn't think I wanted to do it either. And that started the old noggin jogging, what is this? And that's why I was very quiet for months. Months on months, I was very, very quiet, thinking, how the fuck am I getting out of this? This is fucked up.
Have the time to do this. And he goes running to Dion at a later date, and he explains to Dion what he was asked to do. He was asked to keep tabs on people who wanted to hurt us because the police won't stop those people.
Yes, so what you need to do is you need to go, because you're saying the police won't do anything, you wanted to take it into your own hands, vigilantism, go and attack these guys yourselves, and then your movement gets smeared as being violent. This is very important because this goes back to something else that was set up within the NF, right? National Front and the BNP. We have a video to show you, and I think this will clear up why I think this is really dodgy, why it's happening again in PA, yeah? There is this video.
Andy introduces me to Mark Collet, the man widely tipped to become a future leader of the BNP. When council candidate Dave Midgley asks him about the Red Watch site, Collet doesn't quite toe the party line.
I was looking at the website the other day, and someone mentioned about the Red Watch. What are these? What is it? The NF Run it's basically just a hit list of Reds that need content. That guy wants it big time.
The man Dave Midgley thinks needs it big time is a local councillor. Could it be arranged that he goes onto the Red Watch site?
It could if you send it. If you send them a scanned picture, it's something to do with me. Well, it's got. As I said, it's all you do. Just send it to the thing. It's actually an explanation of who he is, where he lives.
But who would we send it to?
You've just got to send it to their contact address on their thing. Scan a picture, email it to them, say who he is, what he's been doing, a bit of background about it, and they'll pop it up.
Do I need to say any more, really? Are you trying to set up Red Watch 2.0 in PA? This is Mark being questioned. Undercover, some undercover reporters like questioned him, and he knows all about Red Watch and what to do and who to send information to. You need their addresses. It's a hit list. You're just going on about vigilantism. You're saying the police won't defend you. Yet here we are. Is this what you're trying to create within PA? No organisation, even the BNP didn't. But he's right. He didn't toe the party line. The BNP would have just disavowed it. And now you're trying to say, oh, the police aren't going to do anything, so we must do these horrible things to these people because you believe that they won't. You believe it doesn't mean you have tried to get them to do anything. There are ways, even if you think they're the most anti-white scum on the earth.
This is very, very good of us. It shows that we have foresight. It shows that we are trying to protect those people who come to our events. It shows that we are trying to protect the families and the other people who are basically wanting to come to PA to have good events, good PA events, and meet decent people. That's all we were trying to do. So where am I going with this? Where am I going with this Madfwaz issue? Dion then decides that we have committed a terrorist offence. And you're probably listening to this scratching your head. What particular terrorist offence have we committed? Well, I don't know. But she went to counter-terrorism and told them that we had committed.
The offence is under the Terrorism Act, material likely to be used by a terrorist organisation. Collecting lists of political opponents, going around their houses, trying to find out where they live and take their devices and twat them or whatever, whatever strong constitution is required for, hit lists, counter-terrorism. Is that not a crime? Going to counter-terrorism with that stuff? That's not a crime under counter-terrorism's jurisdiction, is it? I know. Mark, you're so naive, or you're you are a honeypot. Either one.
Some kind of absolutely heinous offence whereby we had put people at risk. Had we? No. Why did she say this? Don't know.
No, what I did was in hope that it would stop putting people at risk, because your organization's fucking farce. Yeah. With this shit. Hopefully this stuff has stopped you from doing any of this shit. I hope it has. I really do. Because other people would have been dragged down by this, yeah? May have not been the first guy you beat up. May have not been the second, third. But eventually it would have caught up. And all the people in your organization, no matter how big it is, right? They would have got proscribed. And we know what happens with the prescription, don't we? What Griffin said. Go back to that video, watch it again, yeah? They want to prescribe people so that you cannot join any other organization other than whatever they say is allowed. Yeah. And this is also then verified by this ITV news article we're going to play in a second, because he goes on to this.
Was it malicious? I believe it was malicious. I believe that she made a malicious complaint about PA. We have no intention of going out and looking for Antifa. We have no intention of scrapping with these people.
No intention of looking for Antifa. Okay, let's just play that again.
Yeah, it's fucking infuriating, isn't it? Because just if he'd shared that detail and we pinned him down to a street, that, the instruction would have been, this is our number one activity for these next weeks, to re-ident him, get his house, and that's it. Within we just then I don't need to put details in it, but you know what happens then.
Yes, you had no intention of going. Oh my God, the barefaced lies.
It is absolutely.
We have no intention of getting into confrontation with these people, but we do have the absolute right to defend ourselves should those people come looking for trouble with us. We have the right to defend our members. Sorry, not our members. We don't have members. We have a right to defend our activists and supporters. That is just a fact. And if we didn't try to defend our activists and supporters, we would basically be failing in one of our primary aims, to ensure that people who come to events and meetings were safe. She took this safety precaution and tried to turn it into something it wasn't, so she could submit a false police report.
Again, total obfuscation. We're not talking about members' data here. We're talking about pen drives, encrypted pen drives with lists of political opponents on them. You're totally obfuscating the fact, Mark. That was the question. You've obfuscated yet again. You've lied. It's clearly been demonstrated here. Either you don't know who or what the fuck is in your organization and running it, or you're complicit in this. And you are, because I know you are. Right?
Okay, next issue. I've already done this one. I talked about the National Action Camp, which wasn't a National Action Camp, and she called it that. I talked about that earlier. She said that I attended this camp that was illegal. Wasn't illegal at all. It was totally legal, run by a group called Western Spring, run by a guy called Max Musson.
Right, yeah. There's something to do with Max Musson as well, isn't there? There's a bit of stuff to do with him. We may have to look into him later, and I think we will be with what we're doing later on. But yeah, this is the ITV News report. I've got it up on my browser here. There we go.
Among the students taking part in boxing class are two men linked to NA. This man calls himself James Mack.
By the way, that's Collet there, right? This is Collet in the black and the cargo pants. He's admitted this. This is him, right? So we've got NA members here. Former NA members, sorry.
Been associated with the group for several years. Here he is at one of their rallies, but he's not the only suspected NA follower here. This is Garen Helm from Liverpool. A former convict, a racist, and today a trainee boxer too. He's the man behind the mask who was...
Okay, so yeah, that's the event Mark is talking about here. It's in the Telegram channel if you want to view the whole thing, the ITV News report. Okay, so back to Mark.
I never hid that I went to the camp. I was never deceptive with anyone about going to the camp. Why would I be? It was a legal nationalist event. Why would I be worried about attending? And actually, if I want to go hiking and camping with people and I'm not breaking the law, why would I hide it? Well, I wasn't hiding it. She said I was hiding it. And the reason she said I was hiding it is because she wanted people to believe I was hiding it. Not hiding it, telling all of you now, told everyone at the time, didn't hide it when I went. I think, in fact, I made it clear on social media. I don't have my Facebook, but when I used to go to those events, I would regularly state afterwards, been to this event, had a great time. It was good. Next is Laura's wage. And we're getting to the bottom of the barrel now, guys. This is the next smoking gun. And this is how vindictive she is. Now, quite some time ago, when Laura did not run Grandma Towler's tea, what Laura stated, or what I stated, was that I wouldn't take a wage from PA within a year of us starting to take donations. And not only but I haven't taken any donations ever. I've never taken a wage from PA. I said, the only person who'd take a wage or a salary from PA is Laura. And Laura kindly accepted that. And I repeatedly made that pledge that it isn't for me, that the money wasn't for me, that Laura was the most important person because she was doing great work with the website. She needed the financial help, so she would have the wage. And this is what Dion said. This is what Detective Dion said. She has now made numerous posts and accusations about this, because on Tea Time with Sam and Laura, somebody asked, does anybody take a wage from PA? That was on Monday night. And on Monday night, Laura said, no one takes a wage from PA, neither me or Mark. And she made numerous claims about this. She even delightfully posted the lyrics from Tell Me Lies. She says, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Who is lying, Mark or Laura? Neither of them are lying. Why are neither of them lying? Because the passage of time changes the answer. Laura did take a £500 per month wage, very small amount. No one I know works for £500 a month. Laura Towler did. She took £500 a month to keep her head above water for 4 months. She then set up Grandma Towler's, and her subscribe star rose over a certain level. And she said, Mark, I'd feel bad taking this money anymore. Thank you. I don't need it. When she gave her answer, does anyone get paid from PA? She was telling the truth. When I said only one person gets paid from PA, I was telling the truth, because the question was asked months and months apart. Again, she presented.
Actually, it was only a month apart. You answered this question on Phil, the stream you did with Phil in the voice chat, that little debate with Phil. Yeah. So you lied there, but it is a minute point. But yes, okay. Did you ever tell anyone that Laura had stopped taking the wage? Like, I don't know if that's. I mean, if we were to be able to see the accounts, Mark, you know, the accounts that are supposedly due, right? Yeah. So we'll see that, won't we? Hope everything's in order.
This as if it's a smoking gun. It is not a smoking gun. It is a big, fat, nothing burger. Finally, or nearly finally, we have 2 more questions. She goes on about Laura's tea business, trying to find out where Laura lives, trying to find out if it's registered properly, trying to find out anything she can about Grandma Towler's, and claiming that she is reporting Grandma Towler's to Leeds City Council under food, health and safety. This has to be one of the most despicable, detestable, spiteful and disgusting things I've heard tonight. And I would probably say it's the thing that angered me most that she's actually said, because Laura is such an incredible person. To attack her business and try to get it shut down through health and safety because you're so bitter and twisted about PA for no reason makes me sick. But then we heard what Colin had to say about accusations of him grooming somebody that he never did, and obviously that trumps what she's saying here. But she stoops as low in her accusations to post pictures of tea bags with moths on them, and then trying to imply in some way, whilst at the same time saying, I'm not implying Laura's tea bags have moths in them. She even went as far to find a report from an Indian that was written years ago saying sometimes insects find their way into tea bags. Well, you don't get any prizes for pointing that out. How many billions of tea?
Again, like, this is all obfuscating for the fact that Dion did clearly state that she isn't implying this. What the problem here is that your packaging is inadequate for a complaints procedure. You don't have an address that you can complain to on your packaging. There's no, in case there is anything wrong with it. And that is standardized across all packaging. Everything you look at will have a complaints address, right? But that doesn't happen on Grandma Towler's tea bags. There isn't one, right? Okay, there's no complaint who to, what office you go to, right? There's a postcode. That's it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So next is, yeah. So under sole trader rules, I believe that you should be registered within 28 days. Is it 28 days of setting up a sole trader business with the council that you are selling food items to, which tea is considered a food item? You need to be registered with a council under sole trader rules. That's not the case with Grand Mortales. They can't find it anywhere. So again, is she wrong there? Are you obfuscating, Mark? Are you just diverting and like pontificating about, oh, it's so bad, it's detestable, you're virtue signaling, right? About the, how heinous this is about posting pictures of moths and shit in tea bags, rather than actually addressing the actual question. Yeah.
Bags get consumed a year? I don't know, but I'm guessing that when you have billions of any product consumed a year, there will be the odd insect or creature somehow get into the packaging. Does that mean Laura's tea has insects in it? Of course not. She's saying this because she wants people to try and get Laura's tea business investigated because she wants to hurt Laura. Sickening. Genuinely annoys me. And the final thing she keeps saying is that I am a bully because I called Madfraz fat spaz. Yes,
this is great, this bit.
That's her final accusation. I called a guy who blew an operation to monitor Antifa, who has since...
I blew an operation. Right, okay. What operation did I blow, Mark? I've asked this question to like countless people. What operation have I blown? Charlie, I've asked him, what operation have I blown? It's along the same lines of the accusation that I've doxed people, right? It's like, well, who have I doxed? It's just meaningless, like, throwback. But if you're talking about a specific event, one that involves a voice note from Mr. Chris Keems, Charlie Big Potatoes, right? In which he states, and in fact, I'll play it for you now. Here we go. It's in this Kenny Smith passing info. So I have a video on the channel, Kenny Smith passing info, which goes over this whole voice note saga that I was accused of blowing an operation, right? Okay, so here we go. Where is it? It's up here. There we go. 2 minutes 50. We'll listen to this voice note.
Nobody has any of PA's databases. The information that was passed to the doctor, all those documents that come out, they're from Fraser. He had them because he was chosen.
Right, okay, so he's implying that I passed those the pen drive stuff to the doctor, which is not true. I posted it in a public chat. That's not true. Whoever got hold of that, that's their problem, right? Just because the doctor's got hold of it, yeah, that's...
To be on a team of people who were infiltrating the lefty websites. That's why he had those documents. They ended up in the hands of the doctor. Him and Kenny Smith were on a Antifa chat group infiltration team. Yeah, Kenny Smith has had accounts in with these Antifa fucking groups, and in some cases they'd been in there for fucking close to a couple of years, and they were good fucking information resources. They were giving him information on what the fucking Reds were actually up to. Some of the groups that he was in were either very close to or actually at the top of the tree with fucking main organisers in them, and they were speaking openly and freely, and Kenny had managed to get himself in there. Along comes Fat Fawaz. Because he's a bedridden fat cunt and can't get out the fucking house, he was chosen to also jump on that team because at the time they thought he was trustworthy. Kenny built his profile in there and got himself in a position of trust. He invites along Fat Fraser and gets him in there, ingratiates him into a couple of groups. Fat Fraser then turns Turk and leaves PA.
You see the contradiction here? Remember what Mark said earlier? Oh, he didn't have the time to do any of this, but Charlie's saying I did. Who's lying here, I wonder? Who's lying, Charlie or Mark Collet? That's another one, isn't it? Another video for another day. Who's lying, Mark Collet or Charlie Big Potatoes?
And immediately, Kenny is kicked out of all 7 or 8 groups that he had worked fucking hard to get himself into. I wonder why. Then, the doctor comes out the woodwork and starts saying that he's been kidnapped by PA, like anybody should give a fuck. But Fraser and Dion are going to counter-terrorism and reporting PA because they've kidnapped somebody, oh my God, and they're collecting...
Yeah, kidnapping is actually a crime, Charlie. Like, if people don't give a fuck about that, then that's a problem. Again, what we're talking about here is that, you know, the authenticity of this organization it's in disrepute. Sorry. And yeah, Dion did go to counterterrorism, but I did not. So there we go. That's another lie.
Databases on Antifa members. Yeah, so fucking what? The kidnapping's bullshit. Nobody kidnapped him. They had him in the car when they were still trying to feel him out and work out if he was. The doc said there was no kidnapping taking place. That's why the cunt won't go to court, because he knows it won't stand up, because he got in the car voluntarily, and it's all on fucking text and voice message. Yeah, come and meet us here, mate. So if he wants to go to court, he can. That was at the stage when the lads were still trying to work out whether he was the fucking the doctor or not. Fat Fraser is a dirty, fat red who's passing information to not only doctors, but when doctors comes out the woodwork, he's sympathetic to him and he's in the groups with him. Oh yes, well, it's disgusting. The PA tried to kidnap you. Yes, you fucking fat dirty snake.
I love it when he says that.
Oh yeah, what?
Oh, Charlie. So again, another thing is I was being pally with the Doxer guy in the groups. I pointed out to everyone in Secret Sources chat at the time that this guy was the actual Doxer, and got a little screenshot of that somewhere around here. It's on this channel as well, isn't it? There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is the Doxer guy. This was his old name. Then if you're a Flash Doxers, why do it? In fact, why not prove to me you are him? So post a screenshot of your channel with a text bar at the bottom. But you're aware of those risks. You made the observation that PA having their camp the same place 3 times in a row was a bad idea. That was from my previous stream where I taught the PA talk, questions and answers one. So he sends me a screenshot and proves it. And then I knew it was serious, right? I knew it was him. So then I passed it on to the chat. I was like, look, yeah, this is the Doxer guy. I made people aware of the chat. What those people did in the chat with that is it's their information, right? Their prerogative. So let's go back to Mark Collet.
Been talking to Antifa, and we have learned recently has been in touch with Hope Not Harm.
He's saying I'm talking to Antifa because supposedly, you know, I had one conversation with the Doxer and I made a video about it, right? About the activities of Kenny Smith. You should go watch that video. It's very revealing that, you know, in the case of this talking with Antifa, I've either caused Kenny Smith to be ejected, and this voice note from Charlie is true, and the reason why it's true is because he was passing personal information to the Doxers guy via Kenny, right? Because Kenny is in these groups with them. Or the other outcome is tens, if not hundreds of like people have been kicked out. Anti-fascists have been kicked out because they passed the information to these guys, right? So in one case, like they've fucked themselves or they fucked a rat. Yeah. If that is the case with this so-called incident they're talking about, right?
And apparently has been talking to the police as well I mocked this guy by spaz. Yes, that's her final accusation. I called a guy who blew an operation to monitor Antifa, who has since been talking to Antifa, and we have learned recently has been in touch with Hope Not Hate, and apparently has been talking to the police as well. I mocked.
Okay, right. So let's separate this. Right, let's address the Hope Not Hate thing first, right? Hope Not Hate. They do an article on PA, right? And the this journalist, undercover journalist experience with PA, the Doxit guy, right? The guy they had in the car, yeah. And they write a passage about someone in PA who it's a jumbled fucking dog's dinner, a mess of a fucking article with regards to that part. It was like, it was just, yeah, their journalism is as good as a fucking, you know, anatomy course in a fucking sperm whale. Fucking, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Like, you know, just, they probably, like, if they tried to like reconstruct one of these fucking skeletons of it, they'd probably put fucking upside down or something and fucking back to front. Like, these guys, this journalism is fucking shit, right? So they start accusing in this article of this guy they're talking about being a former NA member and PA member, right? And it's out about asking them going to the registrar's office. And from my understanding, the guy in question who went to he was never NA, but they then construed it with something that I had mentioned in the one of the previous streams I did on my channel. And I was just confused. I was like, well, what the fuck? What is this? So the doctor's guy again, he turns up in my DMs and he's like, oh, Hope Not Hate want to speak to you. And I read this article and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah, piece of shit. And he was like, oh, Hope Not Hate want to speak to you. It was just like, I was like, what the fuck? Go on then. I'm fucking curious. So, yeah, Matthew Collins, head of and chief intelligence officer at Hope Not Hate, slides into my DMs, right? And yeah, this is the conversation between Matthew Collins and myself, which is all documented here on this channel. Here we go. So Matthew Collins says, Fraser, and I go, yes. This is Matthew from Hope Not Hate. A mutual acquaintance said you may want to talk off the record. I was like, I believe he said you wanted to talk to me. Yep. Would you be willing to have a chat? What about you your time in NA and PA? All off the record for not for publication, just for our research. NA, where did you get? I replied, NA, where did you get that load of bollocks from? And we were told you had been in NA. That it's if that's not true, fine. If not, we can talk about PA, etc. Who's telling you I was in NA? I read your article. Did you mean to imply that was me? He replies, yep. I go, is there a reason you didn't use my real name? He goes, yep. What was it? And the reason was writing an article about a bunch of violent idiots. There's nothing nice about pointing out a former member. And I reply, so you wrote an article without knowing if I was a former member, because at the time he thought it was me, right? So who's telling you I was in NA? Right, okay. Okay, so he replies, I was told you had left PA. They took the piss out of you, etc., etc. Said you had left was directed to you by a mutual contact. Oh, the guy called David in your article wouldn't say mutual contact. No, that's what I said. He's our mutual contact, meaning their mutual contact. Okay, so he has the one who told you I was in NA? And it was, are you saying you are not? Obviously, we don't reveal sources. Are you going to edit your article now when I tell you I'm not? Not what? Is it not libelous to accuse someone of being part of a prescribed group in the United Kingdom? And at this point, who accused you of that? You wrote an article about a former NA and PA member, which you have now in this very chat confirmed you were talking about myself. When asked if you could provide evidence I was in NA, you've yet to provide a single grain of evidence. Yep, my friend, my friend, is libelous accusation. And then Mr. Collins goes on to, would it be easier if I rang you? There seems to be some kind of confusion in the space between the written form. At this point, he's fucking panicking. Starts to try and phone me. I declined the call. And if you're denying being a former member, I can change it. It's no issue. And so he then I think one of your former colleagues has been malicious, so happy to change it. He's trying to like play it off that like someone in PA has like said that I was former National Action or something, which I don't believe. I think he's just covering his arse. Some of them PA Muppets are right nasty. Changing it now. And then yeah, so and then he replies back, done. So he changed his whole article because he because I confronted him about it. That's all my interactions with Hope Not Hate was, to improve the standards of journalism. And fucking hell, you know, I'm not gonna let anyone like try and like slander me as a fucker or libel on me as a some former NA member, some violent thug. No thanks. No thanks at all. Like, so that was my interactions, and here's the examples of it. We've got this is the former okay, so here's the original article. We have David, believed at the time, who was monitored by PA, who believes he was sent to check the addresses of his utility bill and confirm he lives there. Suspicions was later borne out when PA concluded an internal discussion. We have seen that David had moved from the address. David also claims that PA tried to send a former member of National Action to the passport office in Inverness. For more information on their potential new recruit, the former NA member left PA fearing he was being asked to break the law. There we go. There was the original. Here is the changed article. Same here. They believe at the time, monitored by PA. The individual left PA, hearing he was being asked to break the law. That's my interaction with Hope Not Hate. So when Mark is trying to slander me as some kind of like, oh, he's going to Hope Not Hate. No, it's just correcting their shitty fucking journalism. Like, is that a crime? And the fact that like he's complaining that I'm speaking to them, right? You know what? I'll talk to who the fuck I like. The reason why I left P in the first place is because I had like fucking children like Barclay Walsh and fucking Euro trying to tell me who I could and couldn't talk to. I'll fucking talk to who the fuck I like. But you know what? If you're gonna try and slander me as some kind of like traitor or something who's gonna like, oh, you're gonna rat on people. I haven't. I've not. There's plenty of names and people I know, but I haven't ratted anyone. I've only pointed out your fucking stupid mistakes about what you're doing with this organization that's going to end you up as a prescribed group in the hope that you change it. Yeah? At best, right? Or if you continue on with it, then I'm just hoping people get the fuck out of PA, right? That's all I care about now, is getting people away from this fucking honeypot, because you seem no intent to change your ways. You know why? Because let's just look at something that was put out by, again, man of the Eastern region, Mr. Steve Blake's region. We have propaganda from PA like this, right? This was mentioned in their monthly update stream of this month, actually, September 2021. PA's monthly update. There was the Eastern region. They had a paintballing session, right? And they had a role play session between Antifa and the nationalists. Oh boy, do we want to talk about optics now? This doesn't look good. If you're just having a fun game of paintball, why not red versus blue, or God knows, vegetables versus spinach or some fucking shit. There's something fun, right? Fucking, why does it have to be nationalists versus Antifa? That is dangerously close to being what is considered propaganda material for recruitment of, terrorist organizations. Combat 18 did the same shit. Yeah? Combat 18, and you're doing exactly the same shit? What the fuck is going on? Yeah? Good luck. And let's read what it has to say. The Eastern Region activist took part in the largest regional social event yet, with a role-play session of paintballing. Eastern nationalists took on a team of wannabe Antifa losers. Sore legs for 24 hours was a price worth paying for a day of fun. The Antifa flag was captured and shortly destroyed. You have to be careful. I mean, if that's shown in a court of law to consider, if some jury person, does this look like training material? Do these guys look like they're planning for some kind of armed conflict? Does this look, these things could be asked. These are questions that can be asked now. It looks dodgy. Why do you need to be against Antifa? Why? Why not North Side versus South Side? Fucking, I don't know. Anything. But why did you choose Antifa? Are you saying a literal group of Antifa turned up to your paintballing session? What are the chances of that? That doesn't make sense. How would they know you were going paintballing on that day? Well, local Antifa just turn up every fucking day in hopes that you do paintballing that day? A group of them? You had enough people? That doesn't make sense, does it? All right, so you're role-playing as your own guys, right? Your own guys are playing the paintballing? So one side is Antifa, and then the other side is the nationalists? Doesn't matter who won. You're going to say the nationalists won anyway, right? And the Antifa flag was destroyed. Yeah, that's... Oh boy. I mean, you need to watch that stream that Griffin and Jada and Dowson did. Like, it's mentioned in there about, stuff that could be used in court to, present you as, training material for terrorist organizations. And yet he's doing this shit. You're under scrutiny. We all are, right? But that's the price we have to pay, right? Yet you're doing this stupid shit. And I'm the bad guy. Fuck off. Jesus.
This guy by calling him Fat Spaz. And apparently that is a problem. She says he has underlying health conditions and that's why he weighs 30 stone. Well, Dion Muller.
Correct. I do have underlying health conditions. I don't really want to have to go into them or tell you because you probably just throw them back in my face, Mark, doesn't it? That's the thing. Like I've been honest with like my problems, like ever since the start. Yeah, I've been honest with people. Like, but it just seems you just want something to use against people, right? So you know what? I'm not going to tell you again what I've got, what the problems are, because it doesn't matter to you. Like, it's just the fact that, I'm overweight. Really, that's all matters. No other context matters, right? It's like asking someone to fucking, do a fucking the the hurdles at 100 meters Olympics, even though they've got no legs, right? It doesn't matter. You just under your fucking context, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, right? You want that guy in the wheelchair to jump over those hurdles, right? Fuck's sake, like, again, that's a pretty extreme example, but still, Mark likes extreme examples. Case in point, let's listen to this.
Has as good a grasp of the laws of thermodynamics as she does the criminal justice system and the idea of a smoking gun. Because the first law of thermodynamics, Dion, is that energy is never created or destroyed, it is only transferred. Madfouaz, nor any other human being for that matter, can create fat cells out of nothing. If Madfouaz could create fat cells out of nothing, he would be a miracle. In fact, NASA would probably be testing on him now to figure out how he creates cells without any energy.
Oh, I made a joke last night that, yeah, I work for NASA and, yeah, I can do this. I thought that was... Why is this example? Oh, I don't get. I don't.
Madfwaz is fat because he eats too much. He
Yeah.
is fat because he transfers large amounts of energy
And I
from
can't walk around,
takeaways
Mark, very well.
into fat cells. That is a scientific fact. That is how you present scientific facts. That is something Dion should learn from. And that is the end of the questions. I'm sure she will say I haven't answered all of her questions and I've missed one or two, and that she'll...
You haven't answered. You've lied about fucking all of them. There's a few you could say that you answered, but you obfuscated or outright lied about most of them.
We'll have many more soon, but that is all I have to answer tonight. Now for my extended apology. My apologies for foisting this woman upon you. My apologies for allowing her at PA events. The buck stops with me. I am the leader. I am like the football manager. I am the person that gets...
Wow, this is an apology from Mark Collet. Why didn't we get this apology when James Shand was found out to be a convicted paedophile, right? In PA. Where was the apology then? It's interesting. There's an apology now, but there's been plenty of events that have looked really bad on you, Mark. Where were your apologies then? I mean, you want to go into the James Shand bit? You still haven't apologized for that. In fact, you defended the fucking guy, right? You defended Cornelius over it and his handling of it. But, I mean, go look into the Cornelius and his links with James Shand prior to his conviction. He knew the guy. And again, that's another question you didn't want to answer, right? And probably should have been on there. Maybe in the next fortnight you'll be answering this question and apologizing for it. Hopefully you will. But yeah. Apologies, right?
The blame for picking the wrong team members. She was a wrong team member. I am the boss and I hold my hands up. If you want to shout at me for it, if you want to send me rude text messages about it, feel free. I can take it, I promise. But I will say this, there are mitigating circumstances. When PA was set up, we were welcoming. We still are welcoming. When we set up PA, we wanted to be open. We still are open. And we pledged to allow people in. Some people who had fallouts with others in the past. Some people who had done things in the past that they weren't proud of, as long as they hadn't worked with the police or Hope Not Hate, they were allowed in. And we said everyone got a clean...
That's hilarious. Work with the police or Hope Not Hate. Did you not do a BBC documentary called Young, Nazi and Proud? Did you not work with the BBC? You say, are they not considered journalists in Europe back in the day, or does it not count for you, then, Mark? Huh? I mean, there are rumours that you did actually go and work for Hope Not Hate, but you'll have to ask Joe Owens that, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know. There's Charlie's had Charlie himself as well has had what is it? Robbie Mullen was in his gaff, as he said. Good old Robbie Mullen was in his house, right? Yeah. Why was Robbie Mullen in his fucking house? Yeah. No, I guess he didn't know it was Robbie Mullen at the time, right? Well, yeah. I don't know, Mark. I don't know about all these kind of if you haven't worked with the police or Hope Not Hate, really. You've worked with the BBC, for fuck's sake. Not once. Well, was it Channel 4 as well with the Russell Brand thing? You've worked with plenty of media outlets, Mark, that you consider today to be left-wing and biased against white people. But it doesn't account. It doesn't matter to you, right? You're immune from that kind of criticism, I guess. You're perfect, Mark.
Late, and that sometimes goes wrong. In this case, that went wrong. And what I will say to you all is, had I started stopping people from coming in, had I started turning people away, I'd have been shot for that as well. We tried to be as welcoming as possible, and we were nothing but kind to this woman. But that kindness has not been repaid, and as I said, I have given you my apology for my part in that. I am not somebody who can't own up to mistakes. I am not somebody who can't take criticism. And those that work with me closely on a daily basis regularly give me criticism, regularly tell me when I've done something that is incorrect, and I happily change things that I have done wrong when I've done them wrong. And I will happily admit when something is not right. And again, I have made that clear tonight. Now, the other question at the end is going to be, is she mad? Is she bad? Is she a fed? I don't know. I don't know her motivations. Thankfully, I do not live in her head. Well, I suppose I do live in her head in a certain way, but
you actually think about living in
I've presented you with lots of actual evidence.
That's just wrong.
I've answered every question she's asked, and you can draw your own conclusions. Charlie's had his say. Colin's had his say. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. But I do know one thing. She is bad for nationalism. And I do know for a fact she is banned from the vast majority of ethno-nationalist events and conferences, both here in the UK and all across the continent. She now tells people quite joyfully that she is no longer a nationalist. And I have one final message from her to read tonight. And she says the following, and this is quite interesting. The point I'm making here is that whilst people are ripping each other's throats out over Stalin and Hitler, an agenda is being played out with it, which affects all of us, black or white. This agenda is relying on division to keep us all at each other's throats. Well, that sounds like David Ickeism, and it is, because that's where she's going to now.
You know what's hilarious is your main PA talk channel on YouTube, hosted by Charlie Big Potatoes and Cyborg. They had a black dude on. I think his name was Cyrus. I think it was episode 3, and yeah, they were very about like black or white unite kind of thing. You know, it was very Tommy Robinson-esque as well, Mark. You're not immune from this kind of like, oh, she's no longer a nationalist. Well, guess what? Your own guys are doing the same thing. Are they no longer nationalists now because they're looking to work with other people?
She's been a 1% biker gang. She's been an EDL follower, a TR, Tommy Robinson girl. She's been an ethno-nationalist, and now she's in with David Icke. I wonder how much damage she will do to his movement. And you're thinking now, Mark, it's over. But we have a bonus round.
Oh, goody.
Everyone loves a bonus round. Charlie, do you like a bonus round?
Love bonuses.
Certainly do, mate. Certainly do. And
do you know what the bonus round's going to be about, my Scouse friend?
Me.
No, I actually don't. This will be a surprise for me too.
Well, this is about 4 people.
Five actually.
Chris
it's about
Mitchell,
5. It's about me as well.
Joe, Richard Lumby, and another guy who I'm going to mention in a second.
Yeah, you don't actually mention his name, but it's Vinnie Sullivan. Yeah, okay. It's like he's like Voldemort. You can't actually say his name, can you, Mark?
And I'm dealing with the first 3 first because I don't know if the other guy was actually involved in this. But those 3 and the other unmentioned individual did a stream about PA on Monday night, which was a drama stream. It had far less people watching than are listening to this now. In that stream, Chris Mitchell and Anglo Joe made several comments defending Madfwaz. They publicly stated he hasn't doxed anyone, and Chris Mitchell stated publicly, this is all recorded, and there will be a recording placed by Charlie in the speaker chat now. They said that he'd never doxed anyone, and essentially he was a good-hearted, decent fellow. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Charlie, is that what they said?
It certainly is.
And later that very night, they hosted one of these Telegram chats in which Chris Mitchell admitted that despite him and Anglo Joe defending Madfwaz, and saying that he was a decent guy and that he hadn't doxed anyone. They both knew that he had been in touch with Fash Doxes and been very pally with him. Chris Mitchell describes the messages as if they had a very warm relationship. He then, Chris Mitchell states that he knows Mad Fawaz had been in touch with Hope Not Hate.
Correct. Yeah, we've already gone over that. The reasons why I was in touch with Matthew Collins, yeah.
But he didn't bring this up on the stream, and he.
The reason why I didn't bring up on the stream was because actually I was waiting, and I was actually going to do a video about it, like the absolute state of the fucking journalism these guys do. I wanted to use it for that, so I asked it not to be shared. That's the only reason. It was not because it's something sinister and I'd been like passing information to Hope Not Hate. It was because I just wanted to wait. Like I don't want to tell you guys everything, do I? You just fucking use it against you. Look at you. Like as soon as you find out something, and you want to just like, it's a nothing. You heard something. I've been in touch with Hope Not Hate. You just jump to conclusions and it's all sinister, right? Well, yeah. No wonder I didn't want to fucking share it with you guys, right? Because again, just look, you'd use anything as a fucking battering ram against anyone you dislike.
Still called him a good guy. I don't know any good guys that inform to Hope Not Hate. I don't think anyone else does. And they sat there covering this up on a live stream, attacking us, and then later admitted.
Mate, I had problems with that live stream, right? I thought they didn't. I thought they didn't go far enough. Like, from my end, I was fuming as well. I was like, what? Because they were just parroting the shit you've told them, right? On that stream, right? And I don't want to like belittle the point again, like, but on the stream, they were literally parroting the lies that you told them about me prior to this stream, right? The whole thing about talking with doxers and like being a Antifa and everything else, right? They literally were just drinking your Kool-Aid, right? Up until that point. And they were parroting the stuff like, I dox people. Who have I doxed? Can you fucking tell me, please? Like, it just seems that like you want to smear these guys now because they're criticizing you and you're using me as the fucking reason to like try and divide and conquer them. We'll see this in a second, right?
To it. Both recordings have now been made public. Nothing was secretly recorded. One of them was a live chat.
No, actually, both of them were secretly recorded because the guy actually didn't tell us he was recording it. So yes, it was secretly recorded. That's another lie, Mark. We didn't know that guy was recording it.
On this, they didn't think anyone else was in there. They're having a boozy live chat together. Didn't realize somebody was in the room recording it all. And there was another guy on the stream.
It literally just says then in the next sentence, they didn't realize someone was recording it all, but it wasn't a secret recording.
Called Richard Lumby. Richard Lumby and Anglo Joe run an organization, and Richard Lumby was taken aback when Laura Towler said people in that organization are doxing other people. Well, I can tell you this. We have absolute concrete evidence that Richard Lumby is working with Dion Muller. Richard Lumby has passed Dion Muller information about Laura's tea business. Richard Lumby is attempting.
Yes, I believe Richard Lumby did come out with the fact that he did pass an invoice of Grandma Towler's tea to Dion for purposes of verifying about the whole Grandma Towler's issue. Okay, again, it's because it's against you that you somehow have a problem now, right? And this is a bad thing because it's against you, right?
To help Dion Muller take down Laura's tea business. He's a bitter, horrible man who is working with Dion Muller. Anglo Joe and Chris have worked with Mad Fawaz. Chris is still in groups with Mad Fawaz. They both know Mad Fawaz is working or has been in contact with Hope Not Hate. What's more, Joe and Anglo Joe and Lumby state that they don't tolerate doxers. Yet they tolerate Chris Mitchell, who posted pictures of his nationalist ex-girlfriend in numerous chats in her underwear, in skimpy outfits, and in her bikini in order to both dox and shame her. If you get involved, especially if you're a woman, with Anglo Joe or Richard Lumby, they would happily expose you to someone like Chris Mitchell.
See? Pure divide and conquer tactics, trying to put people against each other. Like a little fucking woman, right? Talk about male and female strategies here. This is the feminine strategy. Oh, these guys are bad. You can't hang around with these guys. Don't associate with these guys. No offense to any women out there, but yeah, there's the whole prowess thing, isn't it? It's about a physical thing and psychology involved, right? So he's literally just trying to divide and conquer, right here. And yeah, he's trying to turn people against each other, and he'll pull out one member and say, "Oh, I hope you weren't involved, Vinny." Watch.
They would happily work with Dion Moller, and we've seen what kind of woman she is, and they would also praise Mad Fwaz on streams, despite the fact they know who he's passing information to.
What did I do wrong, Mark? Tell me, please. Pick up the phone. Tell me what I did wrong.
These people were all upset when Laura Towler said they weren't to be trusted. Laura was 100% right. Now, there was another guy on that stream. I'm not going to mention him by name.
Also, to the Chris thing with the posting, yeah, I don't exactly agree with posting the pictures of his ex, but at the same time, Mark, you remember, you guys are the ones who posted his suicide video around, right? And we have confirmed reports that you've done that at your camp. Your camp, you were showing people pictures, that video of Chris Mitchell like at his lowest point, yeah, him being suicidal. You did that. Charlie literally put the suicide video on his channel as well, right? Yeah. He was the one who literally spread that shit around for you. And it's okay when you do that shit? You cretin? Like, fucking disgusted me. And no wonder I fucking left when I saw that shit. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Do I need any more reason to think your organization's a piece of shit?
And the reason I'm not mentioning by name is because I'm not about to besmirch him. And why am I not about to besmirch him? Because I'm not sure that he knew that Mad Fwaz had passed information to Hope Not Hate. And I think if the other guy in question knew that Mad Fwaz had been passing information to Hope Not Hate, and I also think if he knew that Richard Lumby had been passing information to Dion Moller, that I don't think he'd have appeared on a stream with them. I don't like the guy. I think the guy's a jerk. He doesn't like me, but I will be fair with him. I don't think he knew about these things, and I should expect that if he wants to clear his name fully, he will disavow Chris Mitchell and Anglo Joe for sticking up for somebody in touch with Hope Not Hate.
There we go.
Wouldn't have anything to do.
You need to disavow someone because we believe they were in contact with Hope Not Hate. We have no evidence that they actually did any of these things, but we believe it. So disavow them or else, right? And then we can all play in the sandpit together again. Fucking Christ.
Do with people passing information to Dion Moller, the police, or Fash Doxes, which is what that circle does. And I also would imagine that any decent nationalist would take a very dim view of a man in nationalism doxing his ex-girlfriend and putting up sensitive pictures of her in states of undress all over Telegram. That makes me feel sick. And
yeah, so does sharing someone's suicide video, you fucking sick cunt.
These people, they should be exposed. They should spend less time talking about PA. They should do their own.
Please stop criticizing us. We can't take it anymore. PA, please stop criticizing us. Please stop pointing out all our flaws and all the reasons where we're going wrong. All the dodgy shit we're doing. Please stop it. We can't take it anymore. Is this a cry for help, Mark? I hope it is, because I just fucking laugh at you right now.
Thing, but they keep talking about us And that is why we've had a bonus round tonight. And these bottom feeders have been exposed for who they are and who they're passing information to. So, Charlie, do you have anything to add?
There we are. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of our circus show of lies, deceit, and fucking whatever excuses they can come up with to like obfuscate the facts that have been presented here to you. Telegram channel will be in the description, and I'll even post it as a comment maybe as well. I know some people may not check the description. Yeah, so if you want to look over the information yourself, feel free to do so. Everything's there. I may add a few more bits I think I've talked about, but I forgot to add. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for listening again. I'm not sure if I should take down the original because I feel this is a lot better and it's got a bit more context to it. But yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you. Hopefully, I don't have to see you soon. Yeah. Okay. See you later, guys.